If you want tons of hacks to help lighten your load, make sure you hit subscribe. We're talking about 5 plan Bs that happen during the holiday chaos. Situation 1, you walk into the classroom and you realize, we've got a special guest today. Something special is happening. You've got a special guest or a special meal, or there's a birthday treat or something like that. And you realize, I can't pull my student. This is a special occasion. I have even had like the school social worker is in there doing like a social, emotional, mental health activity. And I've been told, you're not allowed to pull the student. This is required for all the kids, and they're not allowed to leave. They have to be here. And I am here in the room ready to go. So here's our situation 1. Here is plan B on the fly. Instead of pulling, go ahead and stay. We're going to go ahead and make this an observation. So is anybody familiar with, this is my favorite direct service model. It is the 3-in-1 model. Are you familiar with the 3-in-1 model? SLPs use it all the time. It's part of their regular standard practices, and it hasn't moved into DHH yet, but it should. So the 3-in-1 model is for every 3 direct services that you have, you've got one of the same amount of minutes that is set up as an observation or as consultation. And this is an opportunity for you to be able to watch and observe your student in their regular environment and see how things are going for them. You get to see how they're communicating with the other children. You get to see how they're paying attention. You get to see if they're even following along. You get to see how they are responding. You get to see all the things that you don't get to see when you're working one-on-one with them, but are so very, very, very important. So very important to be able to know how they're actually doing. So if you walk in and all of a sudden they are in the middle of something and they really can't leave, that's okay. Go ahead and stay. Make it your observation minutes and use this. You can check you can use it almost as an assessment on your IEP goals. Collect data on what you've been working on. See if you can observe any of it within the classroom. Here is our situation 2. You walk into the classroom, and this is, as I mentioned before, the kids are lining up and they're getting ready to go practice a school concert or a play or something that they are performing for parents. And here you go, you can't exactly pull them. Or can you? Can you actually pull them? Can you find out what exactly are they doing for that concert, for that activity? And can you grab the song lyrics and use those lyrics to work on vocabulary, to work on word discrimination, to work on articulation? I know that we talked about this last week in the Tuesday hack. So often our children don't know the words to what they're singing, to what they, and even things that they do every single day. Sometimes it's the calendar song or, or the lyrics to the winter songs or anything like that. Even the Star Spangled Banner, like that is a really tough one. They don't know the lyrics to it. So it's actually a fantastic lesson plan to be able to grab the lyrics. Now, if you don't have a way to grab the song lyrics, then go ahead and march right in with the students. Go right to that room and ask the teacher if you can really quickly take a picture of the lyrics, or if you have the way to copy it, it's probably faster to take a picture. And then go ahead and pull the student and let them know you're working with them one-on-one on that exact thing so that they know. The other thing to really lean into is identify how are they participating in that concert. If you have a student who signs and they're the only one who signs, ask what that's going to look like for this performance that they have. Are they expected to sign? Are they not expected to sign? Are they just going to stand there? How are they feeling about the entire performance and the activities that are going on? Sometimes it's really awkward for that student to either stand if they don't understand the words and they're not signing and everybody's talking around them, or if they're the only ones who are signing, then that also can be a very awkward and tricky situation as well. If you can ask now and find out if the kids are doing a concert, the little ones, if they're doing any type of choir concerts or anything like that, it's definitely worthwhile to see if you can get that information ahead of time. But a lot of times we can't, and we walk in and here the students go, they're getting ready to practice. Okay, here is our situation number 3. You walk into your normal space where you always work with your student, only to find that somebody else has taken it over. Now it's going to be an IEP meeting space, or these kids are catching up on some state testing, or it's a reading group of some sort. And this was supposed to be your space. And now you don't have a place to go. And now do you have to scrounge? Do you have to go meet in the corridor between, I've had to do this, between the school and the outside? There's this like little corridor where the kids have their coats, and you're going to try to squeeze in there, or are you going into a closet? You don't need to. Here's our plan B. Walk around the school. Walk around the school and point to the different classrooms. What do you call this room? Who works in this? Who's this person who works at the front desk? And everybody knows that this is Mrs. Carter. Do you know it's Mrs. Carter? How would you communicate with Mrs. Carter? Let's say that you need to call home. You need to call mom, have her call mom. How are you going to tell her that? What is that going to look like? What if she can't understand you? What are you going to do? And you can practice your WH questions. It's a great opportunity to practice cause and effect. Like, who's in that room that we're normally in? And why aren't we in there? Why is so-and-so out in the hallway by himself, sitting by himself out there? Is he in trouble? Is he working on a worksheet? What's going on that he's doing that? So I am always shocked at the rooms that the students don't know the name for. They don't know the name for the janitorial closet. They don't know the name for the tech room. They don't know these vocabulary words. This is incidental language, and that's not something that's taught. But the other thing is great. Here's some other things that I love to do when I am walking around the school. Is first of all, go ahead and look at the artwork and see how well they can describe the artwork that's up. Like, okay, do you have a favorite? Pick a favorite, and I want you to describe which one you're looking at, which one you like, and see if I can figure out which one you're describing. Or vice versa. I'm going to describe one, and let's see if you can figure out which one I'm describing. Then you can also walk by rooms, and you can talk about, okay, if that was you in that room, do you think that's a loud room? Do you think that's a quiet room? Like, where do you think, if this is your teacher next year, and this is great to look ahead to the next year's teachers. If you've got a 3rd grader, go in the 4th grade rooms and take a look at the teachers and see what's happening in that classroom. And you can even start talking about next year, like with this teacher and in this situation, where do you think you would best be sitting? Like, what do you think the teacher would need for you right now if you were in this class right now? And so you can really lean into those things. You don't need to go find a closet to sit in when somebody else has taken over your space. Now, of course, you don't want to do this every single time. So if you're constantly bopping back and forth, that's a different situation. But if this is like, oh, I was not expecting that for today. This is plan B. Okay, here we go. Situation 4. You walk in, and your students are in the middle of something fun. And maybe they're making a craft, or maybe they are playing a game. Everything is different this time of the year. And you walk in and you're like, oh no, I was planning on pulling them, but I know they're going to be so bummed out if I pull them right now. And I don't really want to bum them out. This is such a fun activity. Well, you can take the activity with you, and you can have that be your lesson. But if they are sitting at a table and doing the activity with other kids, then you can use this as the push-in model. And then you can just sit in the room and you can sit and you can do the activity with your student and the other kids at that table or around them. This is what I love about this model. First of all, it's kind of like that observation. It is such a great opportunity to see how is your student interacting with the other kids that are around them. How's that going? How are they doing? How are they following directions compared to their peers? Are they on it, or are they looking to what everybody's doing and they're doing what they're doing? Are they really far behind? Are they about equal? Are they in the right spot? But it also gives you the opportunity to connect with the other kids, because I will tell you what, if you pull students, the other kids in that class, they want to know, what do you guys even do and who are you? Who is that teacher that's coming in and what are you guys even doing? And when you can be, you can be like, hey guys, can I do this with you? And you can kind of sit and visit and talk with the kids and you can get to know them. I'll tell you, that really reduces it's like kind of the white elephant that reduces the questions that the kids have. And oftentimes, from that, when that happens, when you go and pull your student in the future, the other kids are like, oh, Mrs. Kesson, can I come too? And I'll be like, not this time, but sometimes I'll say, yeah, come on. And it just reduces some of the stigma that your DHH student feels when they're being pulled sometimes. So it's a great opportunity to sit with the other kids and participate in the class and in the project itself. So here we go. So we're just going to push in and we're going to stay in the class. And it is an opportunity to engage and observe at the same time. Again, if you've got IEP goals that have to do with vocabulary, that have to do with following directions, that have to do with self-advocacy, anything, you can pour that into what you're doing in that setting. Okay. And situation 5, if you are getting to kind of this time of the year where you're like, I have lost my mojo, either A, you've lost your mojo, or you're like, I've been doing, I want to do something fun, something that's more interactive. It's the holiday season. I feel like what I'm doing is so boring for me, boring for my student. I want to do something different, off track a little bit, off the script. Then this is a great opportunity to dig into the holiday trainings, holiday self-advocacy. I've got a holiday bingo, self-advocacy bingo in the toolbox I'm going to show you. Real life role play situations that have to do with what the kids are going to be experiencing in the next number of weeks, and really pouring into that. The other thing that didn't make my number 6, although I was like, oh, actually, this is a great thing to mention, is just the opportunity to talk about the calendar. I'm constantly doing calendar stuff with my students because they know the days of the week typically, they know the months of the year, but they don't know like every other Tuesday or day after tomorrow or 2 days ago, some of that calendar language. And when the schedule is so wonky and things are changing, like for Thanksgiving week, we have a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, no school, or you've got 2 weeks off during winter holiday. This is a great opportunity to pour into that calendar language and really help them understand what changes are going to be happening and why and what that looks like. So those are my 5 hacks for you. I do want to show you how the Professional Academy can help you with these hacks. So the Online Itinerant has a whole assessment that's called the OTME. This is called the OTME. This is the observation tool for mainstream education. Observation tool for mainstream education, the OTME. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. This is if you go to theonlineitinerant.com, If you look inside the free resources, this is for people who are not members of the Academy. I've got a whole slew of free resources for you. And this is the OTME right here. But for those of you who are members inside the Academy, you also have the OTME inside of your toolbox. So I'm going to open this up and I'm going to show it to you. It's exactly the same. And we're going to go to the assessments and forms section. Inside of here, there's lots and lots of activities, but you can always use this cute little search bar and you can search for OT-ME, the observation tool for mainstream education, and it's going to pop up right here for you. So what is nice about this is also fantastic anytime you need to do an observation for an IEP. This walks you through everything that you want to kind of observe in this environment, including even like the diagram of the room. How is the room set up? Where is the student sitting in relation to the teacher, to the door, to the window, to all of those things? Then you also get to look at some of these things like student engagement. How are they doing with their peers? Are they keeping up with content? And you can just kind of generally observe this stuff and kind of keep some tallies and write some comments on it. And it goes down through, are they engaging with their peers? So again, if you're observing this group session, then you can look at this. Do they appear to shut down or disengage? Are they just sitting kind of off by their own while everybody else is engaging in these things? Do they appear to have access to their friends and what their friends are saying? So you can kind of tally all these things. Is the teacher using the FM properly? Have they muted the microphone? Are they restating student comments? So you can really lean in. Again, these are specific towards the needs of our DHH students. Now, what's really fun about this particular assessment, I'm going to scroll down to the end because, okay, I mean, it even goes into the assistive technology. Is it working? Do you know? Maybe you don't even know. That's fine. You don't always know. But it helps you get general impressions. It helps you write recommendations. And then here is a report template for you. So you can take, if you need this for an IEP, you can literally copy and paste or plug and chug this for you. And it is specific towards your students. And this does have a fillable version. So you can just type it up and then you can copy and paste it in for your report. So this is a fantastic tool if you are observing for any reason. If it's an IEP meeting for you, if you are just in a situation like this where, oh, I guess I'll just observe today. Let me see how things are going. Then this is that for you. By the way, again, this is under your free resources. So under the free resources, if you scroll down, right here is our holiday self-advocacy bingo. So, and again, it is also in the toolbox for any of you who are Professional Academy members. So it looks like this. Let me just scroll up. And by the way, inside your account, you can just click on Teaching Toolbox. But if you wanted to, you can just still, as long as you're still in the toolbox, you can search. You can't search the toolbox for presentations. And you can't search in presentations for the toolbox. But if you're in the toolbox, then you can search for other things in the toolbox. So here we go. I just searched holiday, and here is our holiday self-advocacy bingo. So we've got a Christmas one and we also have a Thanksgiving one. And there's a couple different ways that you can do it. So these are all different skills that your student can practice and can do at home during these common holiday activities. So family parties, dinners, whatever. Instead of having them kind of on their own and retreating to watching TV or playing video games, our goal is that they would be able to engage and that they would have the tools as in skills to be able to engage well and make memories with their family. It also gives the family some tools of what they can do to support their child as they are wanting to help them. So there's a couple different ways that you can do this in school ahead of time. review all the skills and practice them. Then you can give that bingo card, you can send that home with the child. And by the way, it is inside the parent toolbox. So if your parents are in the Friend Academy, which reminder, this is free for your parents. If you are a professional academy member, all the parents on your caseload get this free access and free resource. So you can like send them the link, but you can also print the card and you can send it home. Then the child can then cross off and work on at home, just cross off what they did and then come back and show you the board. Here's number 2. You can talk about everything and then leave the card at school. But then when they come back, then you get to talk about all the skills like, hey, who did this one? And they have to tell you what they did and talk about it, and then they can cross it off. Now, you could always send it home and say, hey, mom and dad, this is what your child said it happened over Christmas. Is it true? Or you can just use it as a great discussion point and just have them be encouraged that they're thinking about it. Trust them that it's completely accurate. But here's number 3. This is fun. You can take the card and you can take one card and then you can cut up a second card, and then you can draw for each scenario, and then what they cross off on their bingo when they draw that card. So then you're just doing it like bingo, but you can talk about like how you would want to pour into this ahead of time. So that would be like one of the activities that I would do preparing and leading up to the vacation. So here, when you're ready for me to scroll down, just give me a little thumbs up. And it really is a great discussion. Like, I would definitely encourage you. This is a great lesson to start pouring into now, because there's so much to talk about. So for example, use accessibility technology created for people with hearing loss, right? Let's talk about like, what do other people do? What do grown-ups do in these situations? So at my church, I've got a deaf pastor, and he's like one pastor, but there's like 10 other pastors. And they have meetings. And it's church. They don't have the funds to hire an interpreter. There's a lot that goes along with that. So what does he do? On his phone, he's got the captioning that he just turns up and turns on for his phone, so that at all the meetings he can just track the captioning on the phone. And the Android phones are amazing. Their captioning, it even catches it at a distance. It even catches the background noise. I can't believe how good the captioning is. And I think Apple is finally, their newest update, I think they're finally catching up. But it really allows you this great opportunity to kind of dig in and talk about, hey, what do people do outside of school? What do other people do? So just a lot of discussion that can happen on this. Here you go. Use your phone's captioning or an app to help you engage in conversation. I think we talked about this in the past. Your phone can actually become like an FM system, or a remote mic. So there are apps on the phone that use the phone as the microphone, and then it Bluetooths to the hearing aids. And as long as that phone is able to pick up that voice, then it blocks out all of the background noise, and then it works like an FM system, which this is great to have at the dinner table. If your person is wanting to have a conversation with the person sitting next to them, they can just put their phone in between them, and that phone will pick up that conversation. So these are life hacks for your students, and just a really great thing to discuss and move into. So we've got one for Thanksgiving, and then we've got one for Christmas. It's the same skills, but it's just mixed up. But role play it, talk about it, bring it in with other kids if you've got other kids. This is a great one. If you've got more than one student in the same school, age doesn't matter. You can mix the big ones with the little ones. I mean, they are engaging in the same family situations, and it's a great opportunity to pour into that. Also, I think that's it. Okay, also in the toolbox here, I'm going to go into the self-advocacy bucket here. And there is a whole section that's called holiday and social events. And this is really a fabulous activity for any student that you have. It goes through real situations that happen, and it does this communication repair. That's hopefully a term, or maybe a term that you're familiar with, is like identifying like what's happening here and how can I fix it. And So it goes through all the steps of the scenario, and then it gives some strategies. Here's something that you can do to help this with it. So you can talk about. I love this one. For this one, the student have the kiddo have their job is to be help host. Answer the door. Then you get to meet everybody face to face. You can help with coats. It gives you like a more of a quiet setting instead of all the chaos. So this one is for games, right? You're playing Family Feud, charade, you're playing games, but you are exhausted because you have been just all the noise. You just need a listening break. What's going on here? So you get to talk about listening fatigue. You get to lean into that with your students. And here are some activities that you can do instead, or that can support your child, your student. Again, great activity for family members. You could print this and you can send it home. You can send them the link because again, if they're in the Friend Academy, then they've got this exact same resource. So those are the things that I wanted to show you. Again, just a reminder that we do have some of these, the holiday bingo and the observation tool for mainstream education are free resources for anybody. So if you know somebody who is not a member of the Academy, then they can get those things for free. You have them as members inside of your Academy and you can access them anytime. But this is the season that things are going to be all over the place. It's just what happens. And instead of feeling like I don't even know, I can't teach this, I can't meet my goals, or I guess I need to reschedule and come back, you're gonna have a really hard time rescheduling and coming back. Just stay and make the most of it and work on those goals. And I like to say, pull on that thread a little bit. Whatever is going on, you can just lean into that as something that your student is experiencing in there we go. We can just lean into that as something that your student is experiencing within their classroom, and how can you support it in that way?
I hope this was super helpful for you today. Don't forget to subscribe so you can get more hacks to help lighten your load.